I don't think MiHoYo needs to change that much. They're apparently already planning to add the artifact craftable level up material, which I am so hyped for. However, currently the only way to level up and collect artifacts consistently are through domains and bosses. Of course, there's the limited amount of 1 and 2 star artifacts that litter to vet, but that mediocre amount of experience barely puts a dent into the 20 plus levels you need to pump into 5-star artifacts. Forget about building 4 of them for a single character and then times that by 8 for the entirety of a Spiral Abyss roster. Honestly, someone should have told me to grind artifacts early, because sure, you don't get golds until AR45 consistently, but even then you could still grind up purples and blues so that they can then become fodder for the golds at the later ranks. But I didn't do that, and now I'm weak as hell. RIP. I'm also kind of tired of being told how to build characters. Normally, I love informative videos, but because I just don't have the resin to experiment with this stuff, I actually feel really annoyed every time I come across a how to build this character guide. Honestly, you can build anyone as anything. They've already proven that with Barbara. All that matters is whether or not you want someone to support a character you love, who will act as your main source of damage, or you just want to play around and have fun. People insist that you need crit, attack, crit damage, energy charge, yada yada yada, but that's all just luck with the draw, and I don't get to draw cards often. So it's really annoying when I'm asked, why don't I have such and such artifacts on such and such character? It's dude, even if I get those, I wouldn't have the fodder to level them up anyways. I haven't seen a 5-star crit artifact anywhere since I've started grinding, so nobody better tell me to get some. People are so picky about their golds and purples, and I'm here this is the best I got. I'm going to use it. I'm at the point where I'm just going to do whatever I want and build everyone as support main DPS, because why not? I want all of my characters' kits to do damage. I want Amber's normals to hit over 1k for her charge to fly off the charts, but I'm weak and poor, so those dreams are gonna have to wait a bit. And I have 3 gladiator sets because bosses are great. And I've barely leveled up 2 of them. And mostly the feathers, because that's where the attack is. And I just want everyone to both be able to physically and elementally do damage. So I don't really care about, what other people say at this point, because it's kind of impossible, and also, sometimes it's just not to your playstyle. And I feel like people should build to their playstyle. Some people really like Ningguang, so you're going to build the artifacts that suit her. I personally like building Zhongli with Noblesse. I really like the Noblesse set on him because he has a 12-second ultimate, and that thing is on a 12-second attack boost. You get a 12-second ultimate with a 12-second attack boost, and if you spam that ultimate every time it comes up, you basically have a permanent 20% attack boost for the entirety of the battle, which is great. So it's just, building the attack HP and whatever else on him. But I have to admit, I am too weak to clear half of the domains. I have to co-op with friends or randoms who actually farmed out artifacts early on and who really like to artifact farm. Because some people will do it religiously to max out a character they're attached to. I don't have a character I'm really attached to, other than now maybe Zhongli, but at the same time I'm still leveling up Kaya and Xiangling and Sucrose and main character. I have a lot of people's artifacts to level up, okay? Artifact farming in general, but it just doesn't give enough. Artifact farming just doesn't give enough rewards for the amount that you need to level them up, considering the resin costs. Sure, you can collect some fodder from the world, but honestly, you'll get maybe 1 level off if you're lucky. I've only played one other gacha game, Onmyoji, the RPG, and honestly, it's so easy to farm the artifact equivalent, which is souls, in Onmyoji. The cost for a soul run is super low, easily replaceable, and incredibly easy to level up. You'll just have to keep track of your funds after a certain point, because best of all, they're done in under 30 seconds if you're really powerful. Whereas in Genshin, it can take anywhere between 2 to 8 minutes depending on your overall strength, and I'm super weak, so it takes me a lot longer to clear domains. And then the rewards received are honestly underwhelming in comparison to the sheer amount of feed required. Mind you, Onmyoji is also kind of stingy, but at the very least you can really grind out that stuff for gear, whereas it's kind of difficult to do that in Genshin, especially considering that the daily cap for reusable resin is still 180. You can only grind artifacts if you could potentially run the dungeon, 9 times? That's it? Then you'll maybe get some fodder to level up your new 9 to 15 golds, over half of which will have terrible main and or substats. It just doesn't feel rewarding in comparison to grinding for weapon ascension, talent, or character ascension material for me. I would rather grind out world bosses like Oceanid, Hypnosis, the Flowers, the Trounce Domains, anything for my weekly dose of artifacts other than the domains, because at least then I'll get ascension material in the process for the characters, like sheesh. Don't get me wrong. Artifact farming is important. You should be doing it. And honestly, artifacts are the core of character strength. Every character is a good character. All that matters is how you kit them out and the weapon that you give them, or the artifact set. Those attributes will more greatly determine your damage output over the character's level. At level 60, characters with maxed out golden artifacts will do far more damage than a character at level 80 with artifacts that are not fed at all. So most of my guys are sitting with 0 fed artifacts and are really squishy and weak. It's kind of awkward, but the ley lines are just easier to farm, okay? The whole ascension level thing bothers me, especially when it comes to their unlockable talents. I just like unlocking those quickly. Don't judge me, please. So overall, artifact farming is not rewarding enough for the amount required to level them up. Hell, weapons have a separate farmable ascension material. They have the enchanted crystals. Those enhancement materials are found everywhere in Tibet. You can farm them every day for no resin. Why don't artifacts have the equivalent of this? You can, if you could either make it a craftable or a smith item that you just, use a little gold and, hell, I would use crystals, weapon enhancement crystals. If they could convert that over to basically also level up artifacts, I would still be happy. Yeah, sure, you have the amount of enhancement items you have, but at the very least, I would have a separate way of leveling up artifacts other than just finding random little itsy bitsies around the world. And they don't even give that much. With weapons, you can stockpile them to 100 plus. And the number of times you have to level up weapons isn't honestly really that often if you were only focusing on one character. I very rarely run out of weapon enhancement materials, but I'm always out of artifact enhancement materials, and that's partially because you need 8 of these things. Okay, never mind. You need, and that's because you need 5 of them per character with 20 levels each. It's ridiculous. It's just not rewarding to grind these, and it's just really annoying because even when you're trying to go for that one singular gold, you might not get what you're looking for. So I'm just hoping that I'm really hoping that they will include a craftable or smithable enhancement item for artifacts, because for free-to-plays at least, I think we really need it just so that, it's plausible for us to, at the very least, do a little more experimentation and do a little more grinding with the artifacts, because right now it's just super limited.